Let's talk once again, like we did last week, about what's happening over with the interbank rates. Now, they spiked up to 38%, like I said earlier. Today, you're saying hovering between 80 and 20%. What is going on there?
Hello, Uche. Well, I'm relieved to say that rates are a lot better today than they were last week. Earlier in the day, we had a spike up to 28%, but there's been significant improvement towards close of business. We were seeing levels of 18 to 20, which is reflecting the fact that there's still a strain on liquidity in the market, and that is going to continue probably till the end of this week.
Well, Kubi, for you, do you think the worst is over in the interbank market? I mean, some traders out there say that they don't think it's going to spike all the way up to 38% like we saw it do last week.
No, I don't think we're going to see it go quite that high again. Last week was, like I said, it was a perfect storm. We don't think we're going to have those conditions as bad as that. We have another Treasury bill maturity coming next week, and then we also have we have the maturities next week, and then we also have the government flows, and those government flows are very significant in terms of bringing liquidity into the market. So once that happens, we'll see rates back in the higher teens, probably not over 20%, but again, that will be towards the end of the week and early next week.
But what's your take on this week? Because you do know that we have another bond auction coming up on Wednesday, and of course, as you heard our equities trader there, David did say that he felt that was also going to tighten liquidity in the system once again.
Yes, but what is also going to happen at that bond auction is that we're expecting that that prices will go down and the yields will go up. We think we're going to see yields maybe closer to 20%, reflective of what we had. The Treasury bill auction, if you look at the results for last week, there were some pretty high bids there, and that's going to happen again because banks just have to maintain their cash reserve ratio and then stay active in the foreign exchange market. So bonds will have to be a secondary consideration, and we think the yields will rise.
Well, Kubi, let's turn our attention over to the Naira. We're seeing it doing great, actually. It actually strengthened against the dollar. We're seeing it at 157.75 to the US dollar. Now, what's your take on what's responsible for the strengthening of the Naira that we're seeing right now?
Well, a couple of things. There were some, at the same time we had the tightening on the local currency side. There were a couple of new rules on the foreign exchange. You have a 1% open position limit, and then also you can only keep funds from the central bank for 2 days before you have to sell them back. So of course that has taken out the speculative demand, and then there was an oil major in the market earlier today, and that also tempered the interbank rate. So that's why you see such a lot of strengthening on the Naira. The same thing reflects on the CBN window. They offered 180 million and they sold just 147, which is one of the lowest we've seen in over 5 auctions.
Now, just a clearer picture, any downside risk for the Naira in the short term?
On the currency, it's not likely. We're likely to see this appreciation hold. It might not stay at 157.75, but it will stay in this band, maybe just sub 160, 161. It's been in a pretty tight range all year, or appreciating, and we think it's going to stay there.
Well, Kubi, I mean, oil prices, they look good right now. So certainly, I think that in the short term, like you're saying, so far so good. Demand seems to be less today. We saw the CBN reduce the net open positions for banks from 1% to 3%. So obviously, we're seeing things going well for now. But certainly, there must be some skepticism. I mean, going forward, are there any things that we should watch out for that could pose as a threat to the strength of our Naira?
Well, it depends on third quarter order levels. Sometimes, again, because of business cycles, there's a lot of activity in the third quarter as companies are trying to ensure they finish production cycles before the year ends. So there might be some pressures, maybe September, October, but generally, we've been able to build up reserves. We've maintained the currency. The currency has stayed exactly where the central bank has wanted it to stay so far. We're in the 8th month now. And like you said, oil prices are looking pretty good. Where there might be some issues are interest rates. I think there are more concerns now about the interest rates and about the squeeze out of the real sector from lending than there are about the foreign currency rate.
Well, thank you so much, Kubu. Certainly good news when it comes to our Naira.